Hello, greetings. It is now the 8th of May 2017. What do I want to do? I want to do a video about my silent mind. Whilst I have learned to silence the chitter chatter in my mind and listen to my own genuine thoughts instead of the pre-programmed subconscious noise, white noise that goes off and distracts us 24/7. I had a little, I don't know, daydream about making a video to give information out that I don't think the information will get out, because the information is coming from a guy called Jaques Fresco, who has proposed a humanitarian solution to all of the world's problems, just about, including war, money, finance, housing, power, everything, transportation, accommodation. No child would go starved without anywhere to live. We would all be living in a resource-based economy. So the aim of this video is for me to play this guy on the TV, on the laptop. I've sellotaped my phone to the top of the laptop, and it's hanging down so I can play the video, and I'm going to read the subtitles from it. So forgive me for not looking directly into the camera and all that. I want to pass on information to the youth. Now, search Jaques Fresco, Venus Project. The man's over 100 now. He was 70 something when he went on the Larry King show. He's only been on TV once. The government don't endorse his idea. They don't promote his idea. They don't talk about his idea. They've never interviewed him, put him on TV ever since 1972, something, 1979. He's my hero next to Nikola Tesla. There's two great men in my life. Jaques Fresco, Nikola Tesla, both hold ultimate championship geniuses. So my memory might run out. I need to speak quite fast, but I will speak clearly and concisely, and we'll see how we go. So thank you very much for watching the channel. You don't need a pen, you don't need a bit of paper. It's a information video. Watch it once, see what you think, then go and search for, like I said, Jaques Fresco, Venus Project. Look at the resource-based economy. Look at how he would propose all the solutions, what he's done. The man's going to die, and then the government's going to steal his ideas. That's why they've kept it quiet. So if we promote and get it in effect now and recognised, it's a great leap forward for whilst the man's alive to see it and appreciate the humanity, the human race, trying to save humanity itself and make amends and appease what we've done, and safeguard the future for our children and the children's children, or the future generations that are currently doomed under the IMF monetary regulations, lending schemes, complete amount of the national debt that we've got. So here we go. See what you think about this. So thank you for the work you're doing to inform other people. I'm going to say a lot of things that may bother some of you, but please be patient. I am not your enemy. I'm going to tell you things that your society that you may or may not know. I want to say first that the language that we speak, that was designed hundreds of years ago, and it's almost impossible to talk to one another. Although we think we talk to one another, we really repeat in language that's highly insufficient. Whatever you say to other people, it goes in their heads and comes out to fit their society. You don't always communicate with people. So the problem is, can we develop a language that has consistent meaning? Not legalese. What if you still don't understand me? Sometimes I might say, have a nice weekend. Why don't we say, have a nice life? Why just a weekend? Our language, again, it is old. Is it possible to devise a language that is not subject to interpretation? When you read the Bible, if you do, it says Jesus meant this. Somebody says that. Oh no, he meant this, he meant that. The third people says, you're both wrong. This is what really meant. So you have the Lutheran, the 7 Days Adventist, the Catholic, because it's subject to interpretation. The language of chemistry, mathematics, and science, engineering, is not subject to interpretation. When a chemist writes a formula, no matter what country it goes to, they interpret it exactly the same way. I'm trying to tell you it's possible to develop a language that's not subject to interpretation, legalese, gloss or dogma. So we really talk to each other rather than to one another. That's a major problem. That's why lawyers exist, isn't it? They can take the language, mould it, reshape it, but you can't do that. Those of you who do want to know how to communicate, there are books such as Science and Sanity by Alfred Korzybski, Language in Thought and Action by Samuel Hawayaka, The Tyranny of Words by Stuart Chase. You don't even know this, but the words you use have no communication value. Take junior grade school for example. Why a teacher says to his child, that's wrong. That doesn't tell the child anything. Think about that. That's wrong. What does that tell you? Nothing in particular. And the teacher says, that's not what I told you. That doesn't tell the child anything. So most of the language is empty. And there's another bullshit word, that's love. Don't get mad at me, hear me out. Now, most of us don't like everything we've done in life. I'm sure we don't. We've made mistakes, we've made false judgments. So sometimes you like yourself a little bit, sometimes not so much, sometimes. So love is a fluctuating thing. Even if you marry somebody and love them, you'll find sometimes you love them very much, sometimes a little less. And then sometimes, how did I ever get in this situation? So love is fluctuating thing, not a fixed thing. That's why we don't understand what's happening. Sometimes a guy is conditioned by society to like a girl of particular configuration, blonde and blue, but then he marries a girl of a different configuration and he's always looking, yes, marketing, media, at different configurations, and you think, what the hell is the matter with this guy? Nothing is the matter with him. He was brought up that way, programmed. They are not good or bad people. There are no creative people or lazy people. That is bullshit put out by your country. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. If you were raised by the headhunters of the Amazon, you'd be a headhunter. And if I said to you, doesn't it bother you to have 5 shrunken heads? He'd say, yes, my brother have 20. So, is he nuts? No, that's normal to his culture. If you were brought up in ancient Rome, assuming you were Christian, the Romans believed in many different gods. And you come up with one god, you must be nuts. So they put you in an arena with lots of hungry lions. Oh no, and they starve the lions for a week so they put on a good show. Then they take the clothes off the Christians, so the lions can tear them easily. The whole family would come on Saturday and Sunday to see the Christians feed the lions. And the kids would say, Daddy, can I come next week to see the Christians fed to the lions? Daddy says, yes, if you behave yourself. Now, are these people nuts? No, that was normal to their culture. Just as we go to prize boxing fights and watch men punch the heads out of other men. All the things we do are stupid and far beyond civilization. We are not civilized yet. That's why you have prisons, police, war, and all the problems you have, unnecessary human suffering, starving children, because people don't understand yet. There are schools to not educate people. They teach you to become a cog in a wheel. As Roxanne pointed out, that'll be Roxanne Meadows, they teach them to become a carpenter, an engineer, an architect. All of these are false fields. They have to teach you how to become a generalist, how to understand the history of our civilization, which is lacking in all our universities. They will be shut down in the future, and people will be brought up to become generalists. So they understand human behaviour, they understand what makes a person, what gives a person drive. So all of us are brought up to believe there are different kinds of people, which is a lie. Tell the Japanese can't grasp technology, that the Chinese can't understand certain things, and always get a dumb Polak to clean out your cellar. And the damn Italians are wops. They brought the mafia to this country, and all that hatred comes from cheap labour. As a rule, when the first Irish came to this country, this will be America who's on about, they worked for the 1/2 of the amount Americans would work for. So let's get rid of those damn Irishmen. They are no good. They took their jobs away. That's why we've got mad at them. Yes, and during the Great Depression, if a factory put up a sign, help wanted, everybody lined up to get a job, hundreds of people. And normal Americans, normal means fucked up. Normal Americans are fucked up. Would say, let's go get the goddamn wops out the line. Let's go get the goddamn Filipinos out the line because they threaten our jobs. That's why they do that. Radical racial hatred is tolerated and brought about. But I want to tell you all this. If a normal American baby or Greek baby or French baby, which were brought up in Nazi Germany, and all they see is Heil Hitler, Deutschland, über alles, Germany above all, they become a Nazis. If you brought up in America, you become, yes sir, I'm an American and I'm proud of it. And most Americans don't know that George Washington is the first president, had 300 slaves. Today he'd be arrested as a nut. And most of the people, Harry Truman, President Truman, was a hat salesman, real jackass in presidential position. Now, who are these people in government? What is a politician? I don't want you to take my word. I want you to walk over to Westminster, to any politician you know, or to an MP, or do not know, a strange one, and ask them how you can grow food faster without exhausting the soil and feed the hungry. I don't know is what they'll say. How can you make a car that doesn't hit each other and crash? I don't know, he will say. How can you make roads safer? Ask him. I don't know. They don't know anything. Don't take my word for it. Go ask an MP. They really don't know a damn thing. And I mean politicians all over the world. Senators, all countries, they're all basically corrupt. If you don't understand what I'm saying, where do you think America got America from? You think the Indians come on over and enjoy yourself, take all the land you want? No, we kill thousands of Indians. We starve 50 million buffalo to make it tough for the Indians, and the Indians have fought back. Yeah, that was shit. That was horrible. They really tried to take some land back, but the government decided that they want to get rid of those aggressive Indians that wouldn't conform to what they wanted. So they offered $10 for every Indian that the army killed, the pioneers. And the guy walked over and said, I just killed 10 Indians. And the government says, how do we know that? Bring back a piece of the Indian. So they started scalping. Americans did, not the Indians. It was them. And they started to bring back 10 scalps to collect $10 for every Indian that they killed, massacred, murdered. Americans are no good. French are no good. The Greeks are no good. All nations are corrupt. They say the sun never sets on England. Where do you think England got all that land from? They took it by killing thousands of people. So if you don't like the guy next door, if you shoot him and missed by 1 inch, you're not a murderer. But if your aim is a little better, you're a murderer if you hit the guy. So today they have guns, machine guns with the laser beams. And when it's on you, they pull the trigger, the bullet comes out. If it's a little off, no bullets come out. The guns are getting smarter. Soldiers are getting dumber. And they are killing machines. Yes, they are. We would train soldiers to be problem solvers and send them back to school. How do you bridge the difference between nations? How do you improve agriculture? How do we fight hurricanes, heart disease? This is the real problem, not killing. When you kill people and bomb cities, consider the abortionist. Some people say, geez, it's terrible. They commit abortion and they take a baby's life. If these people were consistently educated, when you have war, you kill pregnant women, children, everybody. Why don't they fight against war? Why just abortionists? There is something dreadfully wrong with all of our schools. They have better equipment than ever, the universities, the best, and the war is getting worse. The atom bomb's considered nothing today. Compared to the cobalt bomb, they would kill many more people. Each submarine, I'm talking about America, it's the only country I have information on, has 300 submarines at present, America, according to the Navy. Each one has more destructive power than all wars in history. What can you accomplish with 300 submarines like that? And then they tell you other things. They tell you things like, be good, be kind. How can you be kind or be good? Suppose I have a factory and I turn out objects, things 10 times faster than your factory. Same product. I'll share that with you. I'll lose the competitive edge. If I have patents, I deprive people all over the world from making things that make life better. So how can you be decent? So you go to church on a Sunday, and what do you do there? You look at the clothes of other people, everybody dressed to outpace the other person. And so when they go to church, what do they do mostly? Bother God. We need a new car, my wife needs a new car, I'd like a home in the country. And I like this and I like that. And they say that God knows everything. That's why they teach you in church. God knows everything. He made every planet, every galaxy. So when I went to church, I insulted the minister by saying, if God knows everything, why did Jesus insult God? He said, I don't remember Jesus insulting God. Well, they crucified Jesus. Just before they crucified him, they looked up and said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And God said, geez, I didn't know that, thank you. You know, if he knows everything, what is Jesus talking to him about? If he knows everything about Manny, Aunt Manny is sick and she is suffering, please help her. Well, I didn't know about Aunt Manny, okay. So you see, for man makes God in his own image. Some jerk that gets angry and says, Noah, build yourself an ark. I'm going to flood the whole area. I don't like the products I turned out. He wants to kill everybody. So Noah is to build an ark. If he took 2 kinds of every animal, the ark would be about a mile long. Who cleans the poo out of that boat? The story is very ridiculous, we agree. It's not even sensible, is it? So when I read the Bible instead of the comic strips, because there is nothing in there that makes sense. God sits on the throne, he makes a man and a woman, puts them in a beautiful garden, and then he has a snake that walks upright, according to the Bible, not me. And the snake says, eat the fruit of knowledge. And Eve did that. And he kicked them both out and slammed the gate shut. Evicted. All loving, all kind God, that was. The contradictions are so thick in the Bible, it's amazing that everybody doesn't see it. Now in the Bible, if you're religious, it says, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say you can kill Wednesdays and Thursdays. It says, do not kill, ever. Then it says, love thy enemy, meaning if a man strikes you, turn the other cheek. And what happens in times of war? What's the matter with these Christians? Larry King once said, what do you think of Christianity, Fresco? This is a great idea when they are putting it into practice. Yeah. Christianity doesn't seem to work, does it? It's not very effective at the minute. Frankly, I've never met a Christian that forgives people, that loves the enemy, that turns the other cheek, that has no locks on the door. When a hungry person knocks, they bring them in and say, do unto others as you have others do unto you. I never met a Christian, never found one everywhere I've travelled. So the point is, all of us need security. All people all over the world need clean air, clean water, arable land, and a relevant education. What is a relevant education? What does that mean? To study agriculture, nature, and how we relate to nature, how we relate to one another, to give us the tools to live in accordance with what we want. Not what they want us to be, slaves. They want you to be patriotic. They want to control us. Patriotism, Einstein said, is a disease. But he couldn't say that publicly. When he came to this country, he was a socialist to America. And they said, don't talk socialism, they will ship your ass back to Germany. So he wouldn't talk about it. Einstein, I once asked him whether he felt that social design would be prevalent for all people useful. He said he was a socialist. He really didn't know the autonomy of social design. He said, you are interested in mathematics? I said, yes, as a tool. But he didn't really know the process of social design. I asked communists, how will you prevent corruption in the future? They said, well, when that time comes, this is at the Great Depression, around about then, that time comes, we'll work on it. I asked them, how will you house millions of people? Well, that time comes, we'll work on it. I said, let's start a technical branch of the Communist Party or the Socialist Party or any party to make life secure for all people, so no one can become corrupt. They said, you're deviating from the teachings of Marx, you'll have to leave. I wasn't trying to deviate or disrupt communists. I was trying to give them methods of solving problems. So I joined at the time during the Depression. I joined technocracy because they talked about using science in government, but there were no blacks in the organisation. And I said, how come there are no blacks? They said, well, let them start their own section. I said, what about Orientals? They said, Oriental mind can't grasp technology. Of course, you know, as you know today, they lead the world in robotics. Yes, the Chinese do. So all our thoughts about different kinds of people are lies. They are not real. We have to understand that all people tend to love their kids. And all people want their kids to be better educated. All people want to know about nutrition. So let's say the drug companies were really sincere and they found out that celery juice lowers blood pressure. You can't make any money selling celery juice because you can't get $2 for every pill, but you can get $2 for every pill you can sell. So there was a book written and it was called 100 Million Guinea Pigs. So how many of you have heard of this book? It should have been in every library, but it's not. What did 100 million guinea pigs talk about? The lies put out by the drug companies. All the people of America, it was a bestseller, by the way, in America, years and years ago. And they demanded that the government put in a Food and Drug Administration to check the claims of the drug companies. And they did. They got that in. Now it's run by the people of the drug companies. Monsanto, probably. Pfizer. Everything becomes corrupt. Everything we touch. Payday Monsanto. So Oppenheimer went to visit Harry Truman, President Harry Truman, and said, now that we have an atom bomb, why don't you demonstrate it about 30 miles clear out in the sea so that the Japanese can see it and you won't have to drop it over Japan? Give them a chance to surrender. Harry Truman said, get out my office. I never want to see you guys again. And they dropped the atom bomb in Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Sick. Because he was a dick, a jackass. Most presidents are very stupid people. They know nothing about ecology, the evolution of society. Well, never. No politician has ever increased the agricultural yield. Made automobiles safer, airplanes safer. What the hell are they doing there? How did they get the job? There is something dreadfully wrong with education at present. The people in England, the world, I can only talk about them. I believe all countries are similar. No, he's on about America, but the people in Washington should know more about human behaviour, the latest technologies. They tell you if you want freedom, write to your congressman. Why do you have to write to him or them? They should know all those things. When you fly in an airplane, you don't have to write to the pilot. Say you've been flying at an angle for half an hour straight and up. They all know their businesses. The same for government. They should know everything about modern technology. Yes, they know nothing. Human behaviour. When you put a man in prison, say he stole a watch that costs $150, and that's the fourth time he committed that crime, so you put him in jail for 7 years, that's a hell of a lot of watches you can give him. Figure the cost of that. Feeding him medical care for 7 years, letting him have the watch. It's much cheaper to give people the things that they need than to kill them slowly. It's much cheaper. Think of a man in jail for life. How much do you know how much that costs? They worry about the fact he tried to rob the jewellery store. It may have been $300 or $400. It's always cheaper to feed people, and when they go to jail, I can assure you, they don't come out any better. They call them correctional institutes. They don't even know how to correct people. They're not people trained in that area. They have a bunch of people they call psychologists. I hope there are none in here today or watching this video, and psychiatrists that adjust you to this fucked up culture. And how can you adjust people to this culture if you're sane? Do you understand what we mean, what we're saying? Even a psychologist and psychiatrists are part of the culture. So is religion. Jesus needs money. Jesus doesn't need anything. God doesn't need anything. They also tried to tell you that God so loved with the world, and that he gave his only begotten Son. According to the Bible, it says they crucified Christ as he arose and ascended into heaven. Where is the sacrifice? Think about it. So we don't think about what we've read. We've just read and we just yak. We just read and we yak. And so when we ask for somebody, we vote for somebody that fits the patterns we've been brought up to accept. Now, during the question period, please don't be polite. If I say anything you don't understand, say I don't get it. And if I fail to answer your question, say you didn't answer my question. Don't be polite. So at the question period, we will examine some of the ideas. And I want you to ask all kinds of complicated questions. Don't accept the thing I say. I don't want you to follow me. I want you to listen to what I say. If it makes sense, do it. If you like the Venus Project, when you leave here, if you don't talk to other people about it, nothing will happen. So if you like what we stand for, look, it's not perfect. It's just a lot better than a society and the controlling Masonic organisation and the Zionist that we live in now. There are no final frontiers. People think I am a utopian. I believe that you can make the best of all possible worlds. I don't. Even if I design a city that works, the city will be a straitjacket to the kinds of the two kids of the future. They will design their own cities. If you make a statue of me and put it in the city, that holds people back. In order to move forward, you have to look at things, examine it, improve on it, move on. Do not hang there in the moment. History is very poor. You don't learn much from it. If you study history exclusively, which we have, you won't come up with new ideas. We want to move on. There is no such thing as utopia. Every city that is designed would be the best of what we know up till now. And as time goes on, you learn more, and the city changes. It would evolve. Nothing can ever be frozen, and it will always be kept that way. Everything keeps changing. There are no final frontiers. What's the matter with heaven? It's fixed. Everything is the same way. Consider this: if you went to heaven and you looked down to a starving kid in Africa, war on earth, would heaven be a peaceful place for you? Absolutely not. There were a band of angels that turned against God, so he kicked them all out. They call them the fallen angels. If you don't have a peace up there, how can you have can you have a chance of having peace on earth? You have to read your Bible. You have to be honest. Yeah. It's a 41-minute video, so we're going to stop it there. See, this man, he knows about law, he knows about the interactions with society, how we managed, are controlled, where the money is, where the money goes, why people... Take that tape off. I'm OCD, I can't have tape on my laptop. It was just stuck on there like that, look. Alright. So, yeah, this guy, Jaques Fresco, you need to research him. He knows about the control, the order. He proposed something in the 70s on live TV, and he told the whole world how he could fix stuff. He saw how everything is. Look how old he is there. Can you see the TV screen? Where is he? Look at that. He's 100 and something. I can't believe it. He's my hero, and people don't talk about it because it's not cool, it's not fashionable. Just doesn't get to hit the mainstream. It doesn't get publicised because it's all about the brotherhood that we're in. No matter what colour, what creed, what sex, what passport you pertain to have with your person and all that, where you've been, if you've made mistakes in the past. It's just about realising we can't continue with this monetary debt system, fractal banking, current politics, foreign war policy, everything. These things are putting us in a straitjacket. They're restraining us. We're indoctrinated, and we are not healthy brotherhood, family, or anything. We are just slaves to debt, and if we don't do as we're told, then Big Barry comes, and we know what we do with him. So yeah, enjoy that. I've started a lot of meditating. I've had a lot of time to reflect. I believe I get some kind of visions come when I'm in the deep meditation stage, and I like to share things. I like to act on the thoughts that I get. If you clear your mind, and your mind's been clear for a good 5 minutes, and there's not a single thought. It's just black. I'm in a black place with the white egg around me, and I'm looking for any kind of image, sound, noise, whatever comes. And if nothing comes, I'll open my eyes, and then maybe I'll just look for a bit, and then I'll get a vision come. Not a vision, but just a thought. And you learn to listen to your actual mind and not listen to that chitter chatter that I mentioned. You clear it, and you become know yourself, and then you can balance. So yeah, short 30-minute video. Enjoy that. See you in a bit. I'm looking forward to the comments.